I would like to introduce a very special honoree who will be joining a rich history of Citizen of the Year awardees that practice trustworthiness and loyalty in their professional and civic life. United States Senator Joe Manchin was sworn into the United States Senate on November 15, 2010, to fill the seat left vacant by the late Senator Robert C. Byrd. He has always considered serving as West Virginia Senator an honor and privilege. Born and raised in Farmington, West Virginia, Senator Manchin grew up embodying the values of family, common sense, fairness, and hard work. His grandparents, including his Italian immigrant grandfather and compassionate grandmother, instilled in him a deep commitment to public service. Through his career as a state legislator, governor, and now senator, Manchin has focused on retail government, prioritizing connection with his constituents and seeking bipartisan solutions to national issues. His legislative priorities include job creation, fiscal responsibility, and developing a balanced energy plan that utilizes all resources while considering both environmental and economic needs. Currently chairman of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee and a member of the Senate Committees on Appropriations, Armed Services, and Veterans Affairs, Senator Manchin continues to advocate for his constituents and the nation. Outside of his Senate role, he's an avid pilot, outdoorsman, and motorcyclist, and has been married for more than 5 decades to Gail Connolly. They have three children and are the proud grandparents of 9. 10. Proud grandparents of 10.
First of all, thank you, Tyler, for the kind introduction. And my wife is the one that should be getting a merit badge, as you know, after 57 years of marriage and with all of our children. He said 9, we have 10. We had identical twins, grandsons. You can't leave one out, so we want to make sure we got that in. You know, to all of you who came tonight and being involved in this, I appreciate so much. The mic up, okay. After 57 years, I do what you... I don't even ask anymore why. I just do it. I was of all the speakers and everything, and all of my colleagues, and Kevin, and I see Mike over there, and Congressman, just so much, and all of you all being here. I just appreciate so much. But let me just say that it's you all that keep it going. People are willing to say, I remember something. I remember either at that time you either had a parent or you had a brother or uncle or somebody involved in scouting. I want to give you a little bit of my experience. I was born and raised in a little coal mining town of Farmington, West Virginia, about 500 people. And that was on a good day. And scouting, and they talked about my grandparents. My grandparents, affectionately Mama, K, and Papa, and all of my siblings. And they always told us to be aware of our surroundings if we could help somebody, something we could do. And I always said I was raised as a privileged child. And as a privileged child, you think, a big home. Well, we have a 3-room garage apartment, okay? Big fancy neighborhood. We live between the creek and the tracks. Why did you think you were special? How did you think you was privileged? I had unconditional love. And I think scouting is able to, that unconditional love that scouting can give you, you might not get it at home. I was lucky enough to get unconditional love with all of the people that raised me. But scouting gave me that bond that I needed with others. And it was something that drew me in. My mother was a dead mother, and she wanted us to get involved. I'll never forget the Pinewood Derby. We learned how, and first of all, we knew what the rules were. You couldn't basically break the rules or you were disqualified. But boy, we would take it right to the limit. We used to put graphite on the axles. Okay? And then I figured out how to put a 50-cent piece to give me a little bit more weight underneath. We figured all these things out, but we had to be within the limits. So there's the rules we had. And I remember that. And then I got into Boy Scouts. Boy Scouting was an adventure, and I look back. The greatest regret I have in my life is not becoming an Eagle Scout. I was on track to do this, and there was 2 merit badges. But one merit badge that really hurt me was the wilderness. You had to hold a snake. And don't ask me why. That was part of the wilderness. But we had this one instructor on me, and I could. So I got the courage to do it. And I'm standing in line. And I was next. And the guy in front of me, Ricky Pruitt, I'll never forget, Ricky grabbed this black snake and started choking it so bad because he just clenched up. And the instructor at the Boy Scout camp says, please don't kill my snake. He says, I'll give you any merit badge you want. Just don't kill my snake. After that, I couldn't grab the snake. And the most enjoyable merit badge I ever had, swimming merit badge. Swimming? Well, in swimming, we had to basically, as boys, jumped in with our pants on and then take our pants off and tie a knot in the bottom and flip it over our head. So me being the smart guy, I'm thinking, okay, I got this. Charlie Christop was one of our assistant scoutmasters, 300 pounds if he was a pound. Now, Charlie's pants were like this, right? So I was watching all the kids struggling getting their overalls off after they got wet. So I said, I got this figured out. Charlie, give me your pants. I took off running off the dock, and I jumped in that lake, and my pants went one way, and I went the other way. And I said, boy, that was a smart move, Joe. Now I got to swim, grab the pants, and tie it up, and make the raft to float on it. I remember all of these things that we had. And then I never had any intentions of being involved in politics. Never would ever cross my mind. And my family was always around it, and I thought, but what scouting prepared me for, I didn't know, is service. Service beyond self. Service to others. And I think all of us who have ever been in public service and put your name on the ballot, there was something that prepared you. You are who you are by where you were raised, how you were raised, and who raised you. And my wonderful family, along with my scouting family. And those of you who are scoutmasters, den mothers, whatever you may be, what you're giving back to society is more than we could ever pay you for. I mean that. I had a scoutmaster at a time called, I'll never forget this, in Pat Keener. Pat Keener worked in the coal mines. 1959, I'll never forget it like it was yesterday. All of a sudden, I come home from school and there's 300 guys sitting on the curbs. And that's when automation, continuous miners came into the mining process, and they all lost their jobs. And guess what? Our scoutmaster left. And he had to go to Lordstown, Ohio to get a car job. That changed our life because we weren't able to ever get that momentum back that we had with Pat. So what you have done, and when you raise these young scouts into become an eagle, what you have done for them, you have given them, I mean, the playbook of the world opens up when you say, on your resume, I was an Eagle Scout. That's all I can tell you. It means everything. But in scouting, just preparing and being involved in scouting, what we're seeing in politics today, and I think everyone here in the political arena, this is not real. This is not normal, and it should not be accepted as such. I have never seen a person in public life that's not my friend. They might have an R by their name or a D by their name or an I by their name, but I've got to work with them. And I intend to make the best I can. I was always taught, I never met the first person who's always right. I never heard the first person who's always wrong. Now, I might have walked away too soon thinking that just doesn't make sense at all. But that was my fault. If I stayed there long enough, I'm going to get something. I'm going to have knowledge. I'm going to have value. And that's what scouting, basically, I kept thinking about that. It kept teaching us to do something, to look for something we could do to make our community better. Find somebody in need in your community that you can help, that might not have that helping hand. That's what we were taught as Cub Scouts and as Boy Scouts. Troop 27 still sticks in my mind as one of the most valued things and lessons in life I ever had. And when I see all of you come out and you write your checks and you support and you get involved, you are keeping a tradition. And now, thank God, we've got girls to keep it going too, because it's Scouting of America. It's not Boy Scouts, but it's all the Scouts. I was governor of West Virginia from 2004 until 2010, and I was there in 2009 when I'll never forget, my Secretary of Commerce came in and she told me, Kelly says, Governor, the Boy Scouts of America are looking for a new home. There's 35 states competing. Do you want to compete for this? I said, heck no, I don't want to compete. I want to win it. I'm not competing. Oh, my God, we're going to win a damn thing. So I sent her on a mission, and we put a team together. And we now have the Bechtel Center. Has any of y'all ever been to the Bechtel? Isn't this unbelievable? And I was just there about 2 weeks ago, and it's even getting bigger and better every day. And I kept thinking, at scout camp was my vacation. It's the only vacation I had 1 week a year, to go to scout camp. I'd worked for my grandfather in the grocery store up until then, and I got to go that 1 week. How many of you all went snipe hunting here? Tell me, come on, put your hands up. Let me look out there and see. All the snipe hunters. I was so gullible. They get us the first year, right? It's always the first year of scout camp. And they said, okay, now, Joe, I'm going to tell you what. You have to go out there and you got to be very quiet. And you got to basically sit at the base of that tree. We put you way out in the woods, a mountain national forest, Monongahela National Forest. And by God, I'm ready for that sniper. I don't know what it looks like. They didn't tell me that. I don't know what I'm waiting for, but I had a big bag. I had a big gunny sack bag. I was ready for that baby. And I sat there and I sat there. It had to be 3 or 4. I'm thinking, oh my God, it's a bad night for hunting snipes. And I was hoping they're going to drive them to me. Finally, they felt so sorry for me. They said, come on, Joe. Jesus, after 2 hours, you should have figured out something was going on. I said, no, I just thought it was a slow night. I'm still ready. Anyway, where do you get those experiences? Where do they stay with you 60 years, 65 years from now? I mean, they're still with you. Only in scouting. So to all of you, my hat's off to you. Thank you. This is an unbelievable honor that I would rate this as one of my highest honors as far as a being citizen, knowing that scouting is part of who I am and it's part of what you all are supporting. And for that, I say thank you. God bless America and God bless the Scouts of America. Thank you all.
Very briefly, I would just like to mention one thing. That one thing is the reason I am here today. I am here because of adults like you all who inspired me to chase my dreams and to come to where I am today. I am a direct result of your support to the scouting program. And for that, I am eternally grateful. With all that said, thank you for inspiring me and continuously inspiring me even today to keep chasing my dreams. And to the scouts in the room, whatever you do, pursue your dreams. To close this evening's event, I'd like to welcome Morgan Sullivan, President of the National Capital Area Council's Board of Directors.
Thank you so much. They did make me aware I would have a few moments to remark today. They did not make me aware I would be following the esteemed Joe Manchin. And for a kid coming from Highland Lane on a gravel road, it just doesn't get any better than this. So I thank you and all of our participants and honorees tonight. Number that you've heard a few times tonight. That number, folks, is 33,000 youth. If we took our entire membership of 33,000 youth and called ourselves Scouting University, we would be the largest academic institution in the entire tri-state area. That, to me, is impressive. If you couple that with the fact we have 17,000 adult volunteers, of the 250 councils in this great state of a great country, we are by far the largest. We're so large, in fact, our 17,000 adult volunteers would make us the largest council, notwithstanding our 33,000 youth. I am excited to announce our rebranding as Scouting America, which reinforces our message that scouting is an opportunity for each and every one of our youth. If you see a child or a neighborhood or a new family moving in, introduce them to scouting.